Hey everybody, welcome to How to Avoid Buying an RV Nightmare. My name's Tony Flamme. I'm with the National RV Training Academy, and with me is Brenda Puckett. She is a Certified National RV Inspectors Association Inspector. Today we're talking about some of the most surprising things that Brenda has seen out on an inspection. Brenda, go ahead.
Well, I think we talked about earlier, do I see more problems with new or used RVs when it comes to these inspections? And this is a perfect example. I had a client who found a lovely remodeled fifth wheel. She had never fifth wheel or never RV'd before. And she was buying this to work from. She was a traveling nurse. And she found the most adorable remodeled modern farmhouse. Oh my gosh, it was just so precious. Camper in my area, and asked me to look at it on her behalf. And she was out in the desert area somewhere in one of those lovely states where it's sunny all the time. So I went to look at it on her behalf, and it was an older unit, and just like I feared, there were a lot of things that were wrong underneath the glossy modern farmhouse finishes. Now, one thing that had happened with this one that was the big nightmare that I was worried about, the owner had told us in advance that he had done personally a full roof replacement. Now, like I've said before, I've come from the real estate industry, and when anybody does a roof replacement in that
Especially
world,
personally.
well, exactly. You're excited and you think you might feel warm and fuzzy, but you don't want a DIY version of it. So I think she was excited that this seller had told her that he had done a full roof replacement. He took it down to the decking. He had pictures that he showed me of the whole process. It was really impressive. When I got there and got up on the roof, there were definitely things, and these are the pictures I want to show you right now. The roof material was covering one of the skylights. He didn't want to take that skylight out in the bathroom. He had decided it was too bright in there anyway, so he just left the roof material over the skylight. And never cut it out, right. So the roof material was covering the skylight, which made me a little nervous that somebody was going to step on that one day. And then also, like you'll see in these photos, there were ripples and buckles and puckers and things everywhere all over that thing. If you've ever been to the factories up in Indiana or wherever to watch these things being put together, and if you've seen the roof installation, this is not a Weekend Warrior DIY kind of repair. So that one was not so fun. There was another one that was new construction. That's real estate. There was a new RV, a current year model RV. It was a fifth wheel. It was a beautiful fifth wheel toy hauler that I got called out to do recently. And I wanted to show you a few pictures of those. People ask me all the time, is this necessary on a new rig? This toy hauler had, and I'll refer to my notes on a couple of these so I make sure I tell you all of them, because they were big ticket items. It had dedicated gas tanks for both the toy hauler garage area and the generator. The PDI had already been done, the pre-delivery inspection had already been done. There was zero gas in that gas tank that was direct to the generator, so the generator would not start, and the power panel for the generator that was on the interior, the monitor panel, would not even illuminate. It would not start. So that not only was that not checked, I knew it hadn't been checked, it also had to go back to the factory, the generator factory, to be able to get that taken care of. The bunk beds in the toy hauler were, you'll see in this photo, were listing.
What happened with the generator? Just the tank was empty?
I knew that they had not tested the generator because the gas tank was completely empty.
Gotcha.
And the start panel on the inside was not.
And it
no, and I couldn't start it, of course, at the actual generator outside because there was no fuel.
Gotcha.
And the toy hauler gas tank would not share. There were dedicated gas tanks. So I knew that had never been tested. It was brand new.
But yet, was there a sheet that showed that all that was tested?
Oh yes. So they had to send that back to the factory to have some work done to it. It wasn't simply because the thing was out of gas. So that was thing one. The bunk beds in the toy hauler area would not raise and lower properly. They listed the rear awning would not deploy. There were a lot of minor things too, like a little leaky problem at one of the waste tank valves and a couple little rinky-dink things like that. However, this client was getting ready to take his family out full timing, and we had to make sure that all of these things were done before they left the dealership because they were going to be traveling the country.
Wow. And you know, me and my wife and kids were full-time for 3 years, and if you have to coordinate these things. When you pick up that rig, typically you don't have anything else to go to, and if they scheduled it to where they left, either we were staying in a hotel for a month waiting for our rig to get ready, and if we got into it and it wasn't ready, it's not like you have anywhere to go, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly, and that
what a
happens quite
nightmare.
frequently to these RVers. They'll either have to stay in them on site while the dealership or the repair shop or even the factory are working on those warranty items. It's just a total inconvenience.
Well, I hope you are convinced now that it's time to get an inspection. Even if you have a rig and maybe there's some systems you don't know about, if you go to nrvia.org/locate, a lot of the inspectors will actually walk you through and kind of do that. What do you call it in your package?
I call it the Queen Bee VIP Day.
I doubt anybody else calls it that.
But it's like a customer orientation, like
Do
a
you bring
custom
champagne?
Well, I could. That's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
I like that.
But anyways, you find an inspector if you have. If you feel like you're having roof problems, possibly, you know, it's not always just for buying a new or used RV.
Right.
You can hire an inspector for any occasion,
Mm-hmm.
birthday parties, you know.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on this series. Stick with us, and we'll see you on the next episode.